Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. This recording is being done in response to what has been placed on YouTube and circulated by our brother Abu Sumayyah, Bilal Abu Aziz. He secretly recorded a conversation and has since spread it, calling it Brixton Mosque Exposed. So this will be a rebuttal of that, and we're going into a bit more detail to give context to that conversation. And before going into it, I think it's necessary to bring to mind the ayat in Surah An-Nisa, ayat 148, the meaning being Allah does not like that the evil should be uttered in public except by him who has been wronged, and Allah is ever all-hearer, all-knower. Now, Bilal might be using this ayat for himself. We'll see when the context is given how all he's doing is trying to exonerate himself from a very pathetic and sorry state of affairs that he has caused himself, and that in fact Brixton Mosque yet again is being targeted by some ignorant, desirous individuals who have enmity for the way they practice, the way we practice Islam according to the Sunnah, according to the Salaf Salih. So for those excited and ignorant individuals who have acted upon an orchestrated conversation, a secretly recorded conversation, it's important in the midst of your hatred and glee at the thought of possessing some sort of evidence against Brixton Mosque, that you know that this whole affair had nothing whatsoever to do with Brixton Mosque, and was instead a set of events that occurred between three brothers who'd known each other for more than 15 years. That's Bilal Abu Sumayyah, who I've just mentioned, the recorder of this conversation, the first conversation, myself, Abdul Haq Baker, and our brother with whom he spoke, who also happens to be a trustee of Brixton Mosque. Since the mid-1990s, Brixton's always had claims levelled against it, such as Brixton Mosque gets funding from Saudi, which we haven't to date. Brixton Mosque breaks noses out of love of King Fahad, which, if you looked at it, was an incident that happened away from the masjid between three individuals, and because one of the individuals who was attacking one of the other brothers got his nose broken, this is what he had to do. Think about it, if a cat died outside Brixton Mosque, they'd blame the masjid for that as well, knowing these individuals. Another claim, Brixton Mosque writes reports to Saudi about their dawah activities. Again, this is the thing of the people of desire. What you do, and this is not addressed to everyone who's listening, because many of you who will listen are the general populace of Muslims, living quietly and getting on with your lives in the UK or wherever it might be. But it's this small minority of individuals who only act according to desire and distort texts of the Quran and the Sunnah, who we're addressing to in these strong terms. When you look at these individuals, ask them, what reports have we ever sent to Saudi? What reports have we given to the police about individuals? What reports? Let's go on and look. Then, after 911, and more specifically, after the unfortunate incident with our brother Abdul Rahim, also known as Richard Reed, also known as the Shoe Bomber, some of these desirous and astray elements seized upon articles from the Kuffar media and misunderstood that Brixton Mosque was intentionally informing on Muslims, when what was actually stated is that the masjid has always warned about deviated Muslim ideologies, especially the takfiri ideology that some of these small-minded, extreme, desirous individuals are upon. And as I said, they're small in number, but they've got the loudest bark at the moment, unfortunately. So let's be clear once again. Those who followed the stories after the Richard Reed affair, from the morning when it broke right through the day and the following days, would know a pattern emerged. That right up until midday of the day it broke, all that was being spoken about was the ideology of the extremists and how dangerous it was and the consequences and the effects of it. It was around midday that one of the reporters latched onto the fact that no names had been given. So they asked, you've spoken about ideologies all day. Who are the propagators of these extreme ideologies? Now, being on the spot, I thought, let me speak about those who've made their views clear to the same media over the years. Everybody knows Omar Bakri was always the first to be called up when something happened around the Muslim world. He was on Newsnight, he was in newspapers, letting his very extreme views be known to the people. Abu Qatada, when he was filmed at the Four Feathers, made his views well known on that occasion and other occasions. Abdullah Al-Faisal, in newspapers and interviews, also did the same. As for Abu Hamza, it was exactly the same. So, those are the only ones who were mentioned because of what they'd said themselves in the media. Now, that's not what was said to the authorities, who obviously wanted to see what they can get from us. But we didn't have anything except the same information they and the general population had of the extreme views of these individuals. So, there you have it. Those of you who are sitting there thinking, no, it's not like that. The media is haqq. The media is revelation. We believe what the media said. We heard you ourselves. It's funny that on one instance, you believe the media. And then on all the other instances, you talk about conspiracy theories that come from the media. How judge you? How arbitrary is your judgment? How immature is your judgment? When the criterion, the mizan you should be looking at is the Quran and the Sunnah. Anyway, continuing. Let's get back to the point. As for our brother Abu Sumayyah and Bilal Abdulaziz, the one behind this secret recording of a conversation with a brother he had known for many years, it must be asked, for what reason did you do this? After seeking your brother's help to obtain a visa to live abroad, seeking help for your legal and religious matters. What was your legal matter? You wanted the letter written on your behalf by myself as company director to say that you were a good individual, that you'd qualified, you were coming out to Saudi to work and do a good job. I did that letter, didn't I, Bilal? I sent it to your solicitor and you produced it in yet another case that took place earlier this year. But you can tell the people about that yourselves. What were the religious matters that you needed help on? You needed a Shahada certificate so that you could ease the process of your applications to travel abroad. Anyway, we'll answer those questions ourselves, Bilal, if you don't want to answer it, okay? What now follows is a summary that led Bilal Abdulaziz to do these desperate acts of spying on a brother, which is haram, and he knows it himself. But when it's them doing it, they can justify it. When it's his colleagues and those who are bent on this extremist, takfiri way, then it's okay for them to do it. Remember the ayah, O you who believe, if a fasiq, liar or evil person comes to you with any news, verify it, lest you harm people in ignorance. Bilal came to me earlier this year asking if he could get an opportunity to work and live in Saudi. And I obliged. He's a brother. Love for your brother what you love for yourself. I was able to employ Muslims to come out, and I said to him what he needed to do was to get his Delta certificate, which is an English language qualification, so he could come out and teach English. He said he'd do this. When he had completed the course, as he told me, then I started processing his visa. I sent him a contract and I sent him a letter of authorization so he could produce it. Anyway, I found out only recently that he didn't really embark upon that course and pass it. He obtained a certificate in means and manners that those who don't put an effort into studying, into work or anything else did. You can go and ask him. I'm not going to say how we got it. It's up to him to tell you.